Hello, everyone. This is SheLovesThee Podcast. I am here live with the Evan Henry,
the one and only
first team All-SWAC.
First team.
You didn't know that?
First team.
You knew that. Stop playing. And you let the cat out the bag that you are going to be a Swiss Army knife for Jackson State this year. Well, first of all, congratulations. That's a huge achievement. You transferred from ULM and you haven't looked back since in a way of...
Matter of fact, I've looked back one time, and that's on August 29th. We go down there to ULM, get a chance to play again.
Okay, how excited are you for that?
Very excited. You know, when I was at ULM, I got a chance to play Jackson State. And now that I'm at Jackson State, I get a chance to play ULM. Two schools that, helped me out a lot over the years as far as giving me opportunity. Mm-hmm. So I am grateful for the opportunity that they did give me, but I'm also just as grateful to give the opportunity back on August 29th.
And you can ready to give them an opportunity of an L?
So that's the goal right there. The opportunity to go in there in their home and put on for Jackson State.
You heard it first.
I see it.
You heard it. So how important is you are experienced, but how important is that to the core of your offensive line?
Very important. I played a lot of games. I've seen a lot of different defenses, and just having somebody like me in that room to coach the guys up, see the look before it happens. You know what I'm saying? And as far as with our offensive line, we kind of got a younger group. That younger group is returning for their second year, so their confidence is pretty high. They got a chance to see last year different looks and different teams. So just coming back this year and playing those same teams again, and new teams as far as ULM, they will have a great opportunity this year. Just getting a chance to ball.
Which that is just going to segue into my next question. Aside from the ULM game, which games are you most excited about?
Honestly, I'm so excited for our home schedule this year. This is my last season, and getting to play teams like Southern and FAMU at home in front of our fans, that's always a great opportunity and great games. Southern, they bring a lot of fans. They bring a lot of energy, and I think having those fans in the vet one last time for me is going to be a very surreal moment. I'm also excited to play, honestly, all of our games. I think this is a great schedule. They put a great schedule together as far as getting a chance to play in Alabama twice this year, getting a chance to be everybody's big game this year.
And as always, Jackson State, everybody wants to play Jackson State hard. And it's great that you are up and ready for the challenge and bringing along your younger offensive line group. How are you feeling about that quarterback room?
It's crazy. That room is stacked. Honestly, Coach TC has done a great job, and every position room, honestly, bringing in a lot of competition to breed success. I feel like football is a competitive sport. So my pops always told me a great number one needs a better number two, because your number two is going to push you to be even better than you thought you could be. And so just seeing the guys that he brought in the room, in the quarterback room with the guys that's already there, I think whoever ends up having that starting job is going to be a reason, because they didn't have to compete against 2 or 3 other guys hungry for that spot and hungry to prove that they're the best.
All right. Thank you. And there you have it, folks. Evan Henry, first team All-SWAC Jackson State offensive lineman. Go Tigers. So hey, everyone. It is SheLovesThee Podcast, and I am here live with Esaias Guthrie, second all-team SWAC. How do you feel about that?
Good isn't good enough. Good isn't good enough. So we definitely want to grow and just aim for that first team and keep going.
Okay. Last year, Jackson State was the number one overall defense. In 11 games, you guys accounted for 17 interceptions, number one overall in the FCS regular season. And you personally had 34 solo tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, 52 total tackles, and 3 passes defended. What have you done to build off of last season?
Just trying to find my role. I mean, every season is different, right? You got different guys, so the pieces kind of move around. You got to find where you fit. So last year I was more in the box, tackle heavy, and so I'm just trying to figure out what exactly the team needs me to be this year, so I can be it to the best of my ability.
And then, how do you feel about your coach, specific position coach, now being the defensive coordinator? Do you think that he's able to open up the defense for you since you've played there? So now he's at the defensive coordinator level, so he knows like where to place you as far as in the defense.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Quinn is a very, very football-minded guy. He's very intelligent, very smart, knows football like it's second nature to him. And so he's been able to take our playbook that we have, kind of condense it, and make it easier for us to just play football and not have to think too much, and just be able to play fast within certain positions and certain things like that.
And what is your game that you have on the schedule this year that's just like the one game where you want to go off and make sure that you're dominant and win?
For me, I'm just preaching next game up. And that's what I'm telling the guys. Don't look too far ahead. The most important game is the next one up. We know that teams are going to come in and treat it like we're their championship. And so we can't overlook anybody. We can't move too fast. We got to take every game as it comes. And so that's what I'm doing. Next game up. Next game up is the championship.
It's good to hear. And my last question is, being that you are upperclassmen, you basically are the anchor for that backfield. What are you telling the younger guys that are coming up and, they may not get as much playing time as you, or you might see something that you did when you were younger? How are you helping them to acclimate to Jackson State?
Just sitting down and talking to them. It's like life stuff too, letting them know that, I've been where they've been at. I've been the guy that came in and felt like, I could play right now. And the coaching staff didn't feel that way where I was at, and they were right. I couldn't. I wasn't ready for it. So I let them know, like, being able to take that 1 year and redshirt was the best thing I could ever did. Not only did it allow me to grow as a player, allowed me to mature as a student athlete, allowed me to also be at a position where I'm in now, and earn 2 degrees.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
So yeah, I get to earn 2 degrees for free. I get to go away and walk away from something with that paper. And so just letting them know, like, man, when your time comes, it's gonna come. And so just take a step back, learn the book, be ready. Always be ready. Anybody can go down at any minute, and then you're gonna have to step up. You don't want it to be like, all right, well, we probably shouldn't have played. I mean, wasn't ready because you weren't. Right? Always be ready. Always be available.
All right. Thank you so much. And that is Esaias Guthrie. Thank you so much for the interview. Thank you so much for coming, Coach TC, to do an interview with SheLovesThee Podcast. Y'all go ahead and drop all of your questions in the chat while me and Coach TC chop it up. All right. So it's your second year as a head coach. You're 7-4 last year. And you had 2 consecutive top recruiting classes. Technically, we've had the top recruiting class for HBC for 4 years. But underneath your head, it's been 2 consecutive classes. Can you talk a little bit about how important that recruiting piece is to building and sustaining your program?
I think it's just like you said, you talk about building a program, it starts with the players. The coaches are important, but if you don't have the players, it's hard to be successful. You look at year 1, and, we had to lean heavy on the portal, with losing so many players. And myself and my staff, we did a great job. Coach O, who's here today, we really leaned on each other as far as building that, that roster up for his last year team. This year a little bit different. got a nice core of guys that made an impact last season returning. So if you look at this signing class, we really wanted to hit the high school area as well. So trying to build a foundation from the ground up and continue, like you said, with the success in recruiting.
Okay. I think that's probably going to segue into my next question, which is you have 3 key players as first team. Then you have 2 on second team. Evan Henry, of course, who is going to be the anchor for that offensive line. And
Correct.
then you have, of course, Matt Knoll, which that's your punter. So can you talk a little bit about your offensive line and how they're meshing together? Because you brought in a lot of younger guys last year. And the development of that offensive line, because you have a new coach as well.
Yeah, starting with the coach, Manny Ramirez is going to do a great job. Been here all summer working with those guys on the offensive line. He came over from Texas Southern, a guy that I've known. Texas Southern led the league in rushing the last couple of years, so that made him qualified to be here. That's what when I told him when I was trying to get him in the building. So he's done a great job with those guys. But we got close to 18 bodies on campus right now as far as the offensive line led by Evan Henry. As far as the way I look at it in the SWAC, it's strength in numbers on the offensive line. You want to have depth, and a lot of those guys can really play football. We got some freshmen from the Louisville area. Quay Davis is back. Devin Love is a highly touted freshman that's going to be good. Kurt Ford has won championships here, so they've been gelling and meshing and coming together.
Okay, so that offensive line is, of course, going to be that backbone for your quarterback room. As right now, the fans feel like Jacoby and Morgan is at the front for that quarterback spot. But can you also elaborate a little bit about your other quarterbacks and how you're building that quarterback room?
Definitely, and that's every position. I always talk about I don't want players to be comfortable. We want to create competition at every position, and we saw how the injury bug was a thorn in our side on last year. But talking about the quarterback, starting with Jacoby, and they had a solid season last year. He dealt with some injuries early on, and it was towards the end of the season he got back on his feet. We were able to see him go out there and have some success, through 10 touchdowns, and the team kind of really rallied behind him. So the summer has been good for him. He's been really getting better as far as reading defenses and learning to throw the ball. He's always been able to run the football with that size, about 6'5", close to 230 pounds. He's a big kid, so I still think his best football is ahead of him. Zai McDonald, had some explosive plays for us on last year. Very smart quarterback, very fast. He can run, good speed on him. So, that competition is going to be something serious. You got Ethan Terrell, 3-star athlete from Louisville, Texas, that's been here all summer. And the transfer this year, the new kid on the block from Eastern Michigan, Cam McCoy. He might be the fastest kid on our football team. Big arm, 2-sport athlete, plays baseball as well. So that competition is going to be good this summer. Or not this summer, going into training camp. We've been seeing it all summer.
Okay, great. You hear that? Quarterback room, stout, stacked like library books.
Oh, yeah. I think those guys can go in a lot of places in this conference and start easily.
Y'all heard that. So I'm going to ask a couple of fan questions, and then we'll finish up here.
Oh, cool.
So what is your methodology for your coaching staff? Because we saw that you brought in a lot of former Tigers to help build up your coaching staff. Can you elaborate a little bit about that?
Yeah, we lost 6 coaches off last year's staff. That's what I be messing with here about. Everybody talk about the transfer portal for the players. The coaches got one too. I'm serious. So it was good, to get those new bodies in-house, starting with Javancy Jones, one of our own. He'll come in and, special teams is something we got to be better at.
Right.
We lost some football games because of special teams on last year.
Right.
Javancy had a lot of success on the high school level. He winning state championships. Very smart coach. High energy guy, and that's what I wanted to do, as far as replacing the coaches that we had last year. They did a tremendous job for me, but energy guys, you're gonna see a lot more energy on the sideline with this new group. Chris Orr came over from Baylor. We coaching the linebackers. My guy, Kylie James, come from the University of Florida. Be heading the D-line. Yeah, we talked about Manny. Eric Gallen, great running back coach, came from North Carolina A&T. Terenzo Quinn was on the staff last year. He led that secondary group, led the nation in interceptions on last year, and our defense believes in him. They believes in him. He's going to be a very aggressive coordinator, but, we got younger and we got more energy in there, so I'm excited about those guys.
I'm excited as well. And so my last question, Lord, they just over here just asking all.
We got time. We got time.
Oh, okay, great. So the elephant in the room. I don't know if you laid it out or not on anybody else.
I think I know where you're going.
We looked at the website, and there's we're looking for that offensive coordinator, and I think he's sitting right next to. Am I right?
Head coach, but I do have some experience in calling a few plays.
Okay.
I've done that. That's been a thing for me in my career. And I'm excited about, not just me though, that the entire offensive staff. I'm gonna lean on those guys, but we got the pieces in the place to be successful. So I'm gonna get back to doing what I do best.
Play calling?
A little bit of it.
Okay.
A little bit of it.
Y'all heard that right?
A little bit
some
of
of them biggest games during those undefeated runs. He was calling those plays.
Oh yeah.
That pink scooter event that happened down in Alabama. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Who was calling those plays?
That'd be me.
All right then. And okay, Brandy wants to know about those get back games, right?
Yeah.
So which game have you marked on your calendar that it's like this is a very important game?
Any loss that we had and we have the opportunity to play you again this year, that's a marked game. That's a marked game. You talk about going to Alabama State. That's a marked game. FAMU coming to Jackson. I'm so excited for the fans and having FAMU coming to Jackson this year. From what I remember about it, we've been playing at the Orange Blossom Classic, but when I was coming through, that was always a home game.
Right.
And you talk about big crowds and everything, and then that team down in Lorman, we're looking forward to getting that right too when we go down there. Yeah, so those are the ones that any team that got the best of us last year that we get to get back this year.
Okay, y'all heard it. So you talked a little bit about your offensive line coach, and you expressed that one of the key pieces was that they were the number one in rushing for a lot of times. For a lot of years, they were number one in rushing. Mm-hmm. So Thrill to Real asked, what are your plans with the running back room? Because if you're highlighting that rushing is a key piece, does that mean that we should expect to see a balanced offense between the running backs and then the wide receivers?
Everybody know me. I like to see the ball in the air, being a former receiver, but I do understand at some point throughout the season you got to be able to run the football, and I understand what we have in that running back room. You got the return of Irv Mulligan, J.D. Martin, Desmond Moultrie, Ahmad Miller, and some other guys that we added. Bryson's there. Travis Terrell, watch out for this kid. He's electric. I mean, in true freshman, it's going to make a huge impact. But in the end, you got to be able to run the football to finish games. And that's something we're going to be able to do with all these backs and these guys I just called. But same deal though too. We want to get the ball on the perimeter to these playmakers.
And I have one last question. I be trying to get all these questions. I was like, I got Coach TC right next to me. Let me go ahead and get all these questions out.
Oh, yeah.
So one thing that I wanted to ask about was your edge rushers, because I feel like last year some of the play calling and kind of overshadowed the ability for the edge rushers to be great. You upgraded Terenzo Quinn, which was your former defensive backs coach. You upgraded him to defensive coordinator. I know for some of us fans, we did not like the 3-3-5. We hated it.
Yeah.
So, can you talk a little bit about
Tell me why when you say that.
Why did we hate it?
Yeah. I always wanted to do that. I just want to know.
Well, because I feel like the edge rushers weren't able to shine. I like blitzing, me personally. And also, I felt like our linebackers had a little bit of difficulty mid-season in picking it up because, when you're doing a 3-3-5, you got to lean on your linebackers. So I felt like it was a little bit thin in the linebacker.
You see how I reversed that to you, with the question, though. But no, it was good. Going forward, we got some really good guys in here that can, come off the edge like you talked about.
Right.
Phillip Webb is back, the transfer from LSU. But watch out for Josh Nobles. Yeah, that transfer from Western Michigan. He is a freak show.
We want to see the
he can really do that.
Sacks.
But it was kind of different, and that's what some of the emphasis you talk about that linebacker room. We didn't have the depth, and we had to really kind of disguise certain things in order for those guys to be successful. You had a Peppers out there, and
so it was a 3-3-5. It was a 4-3 disguised.
Yeah, it was still but
I got that.
We were so thin in linebacker. But now that linebacker room is elite. We got Reed Pulliam and Ashton Taylor, the transfers, David Jones. It's a slew of guys there now in year 2. So you'll be able to see some of those guys rush off the edge, bring more blitzes. Rod McDaniel coming off the edge. The transfer from Alcorn. So it's going to be exciting to see what Quinn cook up over there.
All right, and we will be excited to watch it. Everybody, Coach T.C. Taylor, thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Coming.
I've been looking forward to getting over here.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the day.